Taking years to write a book is so last century. Hi, I'm Liesl Hill. I help aspiring authors move toward their dreams of career authordom by mastering their story, mastering their words, and mastering their marketing. If you're ready to put your head down and do the work necessary to eventually live off your fiction royalties, then tune in each week. I'll give you actionable tips and hacks, as well as inspiring interviews with writers who are already doing this. We are prolific authors. Hello there, prolific authors. How is everyone doing this week? Good, I hope. I hope everyone had a really wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I did. It was pretty typical stuff for this holiday, lots of family and conversation and way too much food. We're going to be subsisting on leftovers for the next week at least, but that's okay because they're good leftovers, Today we are going to be talking about the 3 tiers that you need to master in order to become a career author. And by that I mean if you want to get to the point where you're living off your fiction royalties. I do believe it is possible, even though I know a lot of people don't, but I am actually going to be interviewing someone later this week who is actually doing it, who is living off their author royalties. And let's face it, guys, if anybody is doing it, then it can be done. It's just a matter of figuring out how. And of course, that is the trick. Not everybody knows how. And it's a lot of work, and it's certainly not something that's going to happen overnight. But I'm going to talk about the 3 tiers that you need to master to make this happen, okay? But first, let's get some housekeeping done. In terms of an update, I am still working on Intercron. I am nearly done with Book 1 of Dragon Magic, so I'm hoping to put that out in the first quarter of next year, if everything goes according to plan. In fact, I just did an Instagram live on my author profile talking about that and talking about my fantasy journey. If you want to check that out, my author profile, which is geared toward my readers, is at LK Hill Books, and you need periods in there. It's L.K. and then Hill Books. If you want to follow me for more of the, author type advice, then my handle there is @theprolificauthor. So you can follow me either place if you're an Instagrammer. Beyond that, I am, just working on revamping some email sequences. I have been testing some marketing tactics with my email list. I'm not quite ready to share what they are yet, but I'm hoping to put those out as soon as I can prove that they're working. Oh, I did actually create a new freebie though, for anyone who wants it. So I did a podcast several weeks ago that was called The Ultimate Villainy Checklist. And I was really surprised because when I looked at my downloads, that was actually my most downloaded episode up to that point. So you guys really responded well to that. So I thought I would make you a new freebie, but it's expanded a little bit from what I talked about in the podcast. So in the podcast, I just talked about the functions a villain should serve in your story, but the checklist actually has both functions and also personality traits, and also talks a little bit about how to mirror the villain to your hero a little bit. So if you want to write really unforgettable villains, write a really great hero and villain duo that your readers will really love, just go check out that freebie. You can get it at bit.ly/villain checklist, and I will put that link in the show notes. Also, whatever platform you are listening or watching this on, make sure and subscribe so that you don't miss any content in the future. I've got lots of great interviews and more trainings coming up for you, and I don't want you to miss any of it, so make sure and hit that subscribe button. Also, I'm starting a new thing. I was doing it earlier in the year, but I've kind of gotten away from it and I'm going to implement it again. I am a story clarity coach, which means that I coach authors on storycraft and also on getting their book written and on marketing. So I'm going to start offering a free 1-hour power hour coaching call every month to someone who leaves a review on this podcast. Okay, so all I'm going to do is look at the new reviews that have come in each month and randomly pick a name for somebody to win a coaching call. So if you're interested in a coaching call, just leave me a review on iTunes or whatever platform you are listening on, and you will be entered to win. And if you want more coaching and more connection with other authors, you can also join my Facebook group. It is the Prolific Author Facebook group. I will put the link in the show notes, but you can also just go to Facebook and search the groups. Just if you search for the Prolific Author, you'll find it. Okay, and you can join the group. And finally, remember that you can work with me, as I already talked about, with the coaching calls. If you want to book a 15-minute call with me, you can. This is a 15-minute clarity call, and it's completely free. It's just going to be you and I chatting about whether or not I can help you on your author journey. Okay, I don't usually make decisions one way or the other on this call. So if you just want to see what I have to say, or you think I might be able to help you, go to calendly.com/theprolificauthor/clarity15. And I will also put that link in the show notes as well. So again, very laid back 15-minute call just to see if I can help you out. But I do book out quickly, so you probably want to act fast. Okay, I think that's all I have for housekeeping. Let's get into the 3 tiers you need to master in order to become a career author.
Hi, prolific authors. Me again. All authors know the best investment they can make in their writing career, other than doing the actual writing, of course, is to build their author email list. Like many of you, I started small, using the cheapest, most common provider I could find. But things have changed in recent years. The go-to email providers authors used to use simply aren't supporting us as well as they used to. That's why I use ConvertKit. Its functionality is off the charts amazing. Deliverability is stellar, and in all the time I've used ConvertKit, I've never had problems with getting emails to my list exactly when I wanted to. ConvertKit allows you to put everything on autopilot, so you can connect with your fans in the way you want to, but without sacrificing valuable writing time to do it. With a totally free plan to get you started and comparable pricing as your list increases, there's something for everyone. So invest in yourself now by going with an email provider that will grow with you. Visit bit.ly/TPA email. TPA as in the prolific author. So once again, that's bit.ly/TPA email. Because we are prolific authors, and prolific authors have stellar email lists.
All right, so what I teach my clients is that there are 3 different tiers or levels that you need to master in order to get to the point where you will be able to live off your royalties. The first is you need to master your words. The second is to master your story, and the third is to master your marketing. So let me explain what each of those means. Mastering your words, what I mean by that is just learning to get your words written, okay? So it's either getting your butt in the seat and typing, or if you dictate, then it's dictating every day, or whatever your process is, it doesn't matter. Obviously, that's going to be specific to you, but you need to figure out something that will allow you to write every single day. You need to have a daily writing habit. And, understand, not everybody can write every single day of the week. I get that. In fact, I don't write 7 days a week. I write usually 5 or 6 days a week. And this is going to sound a little contradictory. In my mind, a daily writing habit does not necessarily mean you have to write every day. As strange as that sounds, what it really means is that you can sit down at the drop of a hat and write in whatever time you have available, okay? So it's not, you got to get to the point where you're not struggling to write anymore. And if you really have a day when you're too busy, that's fine. But every other day that you have available, you sit down and you write every single day, okay? Developing a daily writing habit is the best way to set yourself up for long-term success. People who are really successful, take like Stephen King, for example, they write every single day, okay? They don't make excuses. They don't wonder if they can find the time. They just do it. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second tier is master your story. Now, here's the thing. Most authors know something about storycraft. We know the basics. We know what a hero is. We know what a villain is. We know what the climax of the story is. And maybe we've even read a few craft books or, heard at a conference, attended a workshop about story points or something. And so because of that, a lot of authors are resistant to the idea of needing more storycraft training. They think they already know and they're good. Well, the problem with that is that there's a difference between knowing what it is and purposefully implementing it. Most people who claim that they don't need more storycraft and just need to learn how to market their books are uploading books to Amazon that aren't selling. And I'm sure they think it's because their marketing isn't on par, and maybe that's part of it. But I'm telling you, a lot of it is because the storycraft is just not there. Okay? All human beings consume stories in exactly the same way. Whether they're fiction, nonfiction, it doesn't matter. We connect with stories in a very specific psychological way. So for those people who are pantsers or discovery writers and are not liking the idea of having to use story beats, it's really not about anyone telling you how to write your story or what to write in your story. It's about you coming up with your story and then positioning it in a way that will ensure that the reader connects with it, because it's the way that all humans connect with stories, okay? If you don't do that, it doesn't matter how great your story is or how great your characters are, you're not gonna see the type of sales that you want to see. So you have to master your story. And I'm telling you that most people in the indie author space are not doing that. People will claim that it's not very realistic to think that you're going to be able to live off your royalties. And the reason for that is because the vast majority of authors who are uploading books to Amazon to sell truly are not living off their royalties. And that's true. I'm not arguing with that. But most of them are also not mastering these 3 tiers. They're not going the extra mile to make absolutely sure that their books will create mega fans, okay? And if you're not doing that, you're going to have a hard time being successful. All right, and let's go to the 3rd tier. It is, as you might imagine, mastering your marketing. What I can tell you about this is that while marketing is most definitely taught in the indie author space, I don't think it's being taught particularly well. We're not getting a very well-rounded view of marketing. Most authors, their whole marketing plan is to learn ads. And I'm not saying ads are bad. I've bought ads courses. I use ads. I'm not bashing them in the least, but ads should not be the end-all be-all of your marketing plan, okay? Ads should supplement your marketing and give it a boost, but they should not be the foundation. I've kind of stumbled over the last year into some interesting marketing tactics that I've been using with my list. Like I said, I'm still testing them. But I've also been spending a lot of time over the last year, over 2020, in the entrepreneurial space. And what I can tell you is that there are certain, I don't even want to call them tactics, I guess certain strategies that entrepreneurs use to market that are not being taught in our space, or at least I haven't seen them be taught in our space. There's a lot more to marketing than just creating ads. You need to position your book much better than that. And there are people who kind of know this, who teach, make sure you know who your target audience is, make sure you're writing within your genre. All of that is true, and that's a big part of the marketing you need to do. But there's a lot more nuance to it, and there's a lot more things that we could be doing to not only find, but also to some extent to create our market. And that's the kind of thing that isn't being taught. So I'm going to, going forward, I'm going to try to give you some hacks and tips, especially as I learn them and as the things that I am testing either pan out or don't pan out. But this is also something that I teach my clients. But I want you to think about this because this creates a very well-rounded strategy for becoming a career author. You need to master your words, make sure that you're writing every day and getting those words written. You need to master your story, make sure that you're writing something that will connect deeply with readers and create mega fans who will come back to your books again and again. And you need to master your marketing to make sure you're getting it in front of the right people, but also that you are nurturing and cultivating that audience to be the buyers of your books, okay? If you can accomplish all of those, you can get to the point where you can live off your royalties. You absolutely can. When other people in the space say that it's not realistic to think that you might live off your royalties, it's because they aren't, and I can pretty much guarantee that they have not mastered either one or all 3 of these areas, okay? I want you guys to think about that this week, and I challenge you to sit down and think of just 2 or 3 ways that you can up-level whatever you're doing in each of these spaces. Can you write more often? Can you sit down every day and create a daily writing habit? Okay. Can you read a couple of craft books and be more purposeful in implementing storycraft into your book? Okay. It's how you engage your readers. It's how you get them to turn the page. So what can you do to be more purposeful in the way that you're putting that into your book? What can you do for marketing? What can you do to connect with your audience and position your book in the market to find the right people who are already waiting for it? If you can work slowly but surely toward mastering one of these tiers every single day, it will change your writing business. You'll be amazed at how quickly your skill and your backlist and your audience all grow. Okay? So that's what I wanted to say for this week. I want you all to try and think about that moving forward. Everybody have a great week. Get out there and write that story that's going to rock someone's world. See you next week.
Me again. Before you go, if you found value in this episode, I would love it if you could leave me a review. Reviews are the best way to show your appreciation and help others find this podcast. Be sure to screenshot it, share it on your favorite social media network, and tag me at LK Hill Books. Remember, the world needs your stories. Only you can change someone's heart with your fire-breathing dragons, your mind-blowing mysteries, your epic romances, and your intense thrillers. So join the revolution and be a prolific author.